To start off, John, let's talk about your background, talk a little bit about Enable, and introduce us to the audience here.
I was an accidental CEO as well. I've been in high tech for 25 years, really came up through the finance and operations path, and really loved helping companies get to scale. I've been with Enable, and for those of you that have been with Enable through different iterations of our journey, with Logic Now and SolarWinds MSP, and been going from there. So I've been in the channel for about 13 years. For those of you that may or may not be familiar with Enable, we are a SaaS platform, and I completely agree with Jay's sentiment in that it's really looking for being kind of this end-to-end provider, and a lot of our mid-market customers that we share and a lot of small, medium enterprises are really looking for that end-to-end solution. Where Enable has, I would say, a slightly different view as to where that end-to-end begins is we really look at the complete world in the sense that in the small, medium enterprise and the customers that you're talking to, maybe even in some of your operations, it really begins with security and IT operations coming together and forming it. And Enable's strategy really is to look at and helping these mid-market companies and channel partners before an attack, during an attack, and after attack to really provide this cyber resiliency company. And so we have 25,000 MSPs, some of you in the room, and thank you for your partnership. We have a good number of resellers and VARs. We have about over 600,000 small, medium enterprises that rely on us to keep their businesses safe and secure, with over 10 million people depending on us to make sure they can run their businesses.
And you know what, Enable, John, we never want to compromise on the ability to get up and running fast. And you know, when we talk about Cove, for example, we have honeypots and anomaly detection to make sure we preserve that capability. And this kind of combined with Cove's automated recovery testing ensures our customers are just always protected. Now, to build on that, about a year ago, we made an acquisition of a company called Adlumin out of the DC area. We acquired them to be the foundation of our security offering, right? And with that MDR offering, we can offset the need for them to have any staffing for when it comes to dealing with any sort of threat intelligence or any sort of issues whatsoever. Now, CRS is now deploying Adlumin across their whole estate. How does this story change if you kind of go back in time with Adlumin in play?
Yeah, sure. So a couple things to unpack there. So for those of you that are not familiar with the term, honeypot, what we do is, let's even zoom out further. There's a blending effectively. When you hear a lot of these backup vendors, hopefully the backup vendors that you're talking with or that you might be using are thinking about it from a cyber resiliency platform, and they need to have things like anomaly detection or putting in honeypots. What is a honeypot? It's effectively, as it implies, a trigger or a trap for the bad guy. When the bad guy goes to destroy your backups, they're hitting that honeypot first, sends a signal, and then we can actually go provide this insight to the customer. And really what this is a continuation or a blending of IT operations and security operations. Right. MSPs and mid-market companies, the VARs, the customers that you're servicing, they need help. I always preach a triangle, and so if you're a managed service provider and you heard me speak before, what we usually talk about is making sure that your customers or even your shop as an MSP or even as a VAR, to be honest, or a system integrator, is following this triangle. And that triangle first starts with standardization, making sure that your tech stack, your offering, and how you go to market has a similar approach. That way you can train your techs on some of this, on some of the similar patterns. So leg one of the triangle is standardization. Leg two is automation, whether it be with classic scripting or now with AI. How do we automate? But you can't automate unless you standardize. By definition, right, it becomes much more complicated. The last leg of the triangle is augmentation, and this is where Adlumin plays in. So Adlumin is an XDR, MDR type of offering. It really focuses when the MSP or the end customer is under attack. It detects the attack, right? And then you can respond. And what's a little bit different is we actually, because with our AI, will respond in an automated fashion. We don't have to wake you up at 2 in the morning or your team's up at 2 in the morning, we can respond. But the other reason why that's important is that augmentation layer. So if you're out there saying, hey, I have a SOC, but it's not 24/7, or I have customers now in England, I wake up and I have now customers in Southeast Asia that I might need to use, leverage whether it be Adlumin or someone else to do that augmentation for you so that you can build your business, grow your top line, and just as importantly, grow your bottom line. So Adlumin really blends the SecOps, IT ops world for the solution providers, and it also provides this fantastic layer of augmentation, but it still gives you the software so you can see it and go from there.
Yeah, one thing I like to talk about when we talk about ad lumen in the market is it's a concept of big R versus little r, right? So the little r being response, right? So I don't know, it's Christmas Eve, 2 a.m., you get a notification of here's XYZ step I need to take. Can't really do it, right? People are busy, they're celebrating with their families. With us, it's that capital R, which is the remediation, where we'll take it to a full remediated standpoint and let you know what actions we took.
Focus on the business outcome, not on what particular part of the software stack that you want to sell them, because that's what the real conversation needs to be about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, John. Appreciate it. And thank you to all the enabled partners out there. And we're around if you guys want to have a conversation for the next few days.
Thanks all.
Thank you.